Hello everyone, I am Divya, working for the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Today we are going to start our new module, that is fourth module. In the previous module we have studied about network layer, right? We have studied various routing algorithms in that and how network is going to play its major role while delivering a packet from one end to another end, that means a sender to a receiver. All those things we have studied. After studying network layer, we will move on to the next module, that is network security. We know now we have understood the functionality of network layer. After that, when we are telling that we are transferring data from one end to another end, from one host to another host which are spread across in the network, there should be some security that should be provided in order to guarantee the authenticity or confidentiality of the information that we are transferring from the sender to receiver, right. So, with the advent of technology, with the expansion of network to a greater height, network security is also playing a major role. It has become a critical point where we need to give attention to, right. We need to give more attention in order to provide security to the information that we are transferring over network. So, in this particular module we are going to study about that. Okay. In this module we begin with the overview of network security, in which we are going to study about the elements as far as network security is concerned, and then the threats that we are facing at present in the network security, the kinds of threats that we are facing under network security, and then we are going to study about various security methods that are implemented with respect to network security. Under this we are going to study about encryption methodology. After that we are going to study about the third topic, that is secret key encryption. Under encryption we have secret key and public key encryption. So, we are going to study those two things separately, how secret key encryption can be implemented using available protocols, and the same way how public key encryption is implemented using the respective protocols. After that, how authenticity can be provided, authenticity can be assured in case of network with the help of digital signatures. Okay. We are going to study about that. After that we are going to study about how security is going to be implemented with respect to wireless networks, IP and wireless networks. As we know, by the nature of wireless networks, since it is not connected through wire, there is more chances of getting interruptions by intruder in case of wireless networks. So, how that can be handled, that we are going to study under the topic security of IP and wireless networks, followed by the last topic, that is firewalls, with which we can provide the security with respect to networks. Okay. So, these are the topics which we are going to study under module 4 with respect to network security. Now, we will have a look at all these topics one by one. To begin with, we will start from the overview of network security. Under this topic, we will study two things. One is elements of network security, and then we will study the threats that network security is facing. Okay. These are the two concepts which we are going to study under the overview of network security. Coming to the elements of network security, we got two elements. Okay. Before moving on to that, why this network security is so important? As we all know, today everything, each and everything is made available over internet, right. Everything is accessed through internet, whether banking transaction, whether you want to purchase something, any confidential information, everything is passed through the network. When we are passing such a critical and confidential information over network, it is definitely very important for us to provide the network security, isn't it? Without assuring the authenticity, without assuring the confidentiality of the data, without assuring the integrity of the data which is transmitting over the network, we can transfer our information, right? What if some very important information related to defense might get interrupted by intruder, and if that get leaks, it's a big issue, right? So network security is playing a very major role in nowadays because of too much of dependence on the network, right? We are dependent on network for almost all our day-to-day life, isn't it? Along with all the critical things are also done through the network now. So for each and everything we are making use of network. When we are making use of network in such a great extent, definitely it requires us to provide the security, right? So when security is so important, we need to worry more about network security, and we need to provide more and more information about network security, right? To begin with, we will start studying about the elements of network security. Network security is a top priority issue, as we have already discussed. Okay, there are two elements are considered under this network security. Number one is confidentiality, and then data integrity and authenticity. When information is said to be transferred over the network, that it has to be delivered to the only rightful or authorized end user. Rightful user at the receiving end. When a message is transferred from one end to another end, it has to be delivered to the rightful user. Other than him, no one else should have an access to that particular information. That constitutes the confidentiality of the information. So what do we mean by data integrity and authenticity? When we are passing a message from one user to another user, the message as well as the sender, okay, the message as well as the sender of message, both should be checked at the receiving end to make sure that the message that is being sent by the user who is authorized to send that message is not corrupted in between, and it is being delivered properly at the destination end. So these are the two elements of the network security, which assures us that the message that's been transferred over network is not corrupted. Okay. So moving on to the next thing. Consider an example here. We have user 1 here, and we have one more user somewhere here. Okay. User 1 wants to send information to user 2. He is sending a message called, "Hi, I am user 1. Okay. In between user 1 and user 2, if there are no security process or security protocols installed or implemented in between user 1 and user 2, then an intruder who is somewhere here, okay, here intruder might be somewhere here in the network. What he will do, when user 1 is sending his message from his point to user 2, in between he will intrude the message. Okay. After intruding, what he will do, he will modify that message, and then the modified message will be delivered to user 2. Here what he will do, he will change this message to some "Hi, I am user 3, something like this. Here it was user 1, the message has been changed from user 1 to user 3, and this particular modified message is delivered to user 2. Here if you look at this, the message that is present here at this point is modified here by the intruder at this point. So this leads to the confidentiality threat. Okay. The message that is being sent from sender is not delivered to the receiver properly. It is being modified by our intruder. So, the confidentiality of message is break, right? It is break. And when a user 1 is intending to send the information to user 2, instead of sending or delivering the message to user 2, in between intruder is interrupted. So, he interrupted the message and he modified and he is sending it to user 2. So, during this process the data integrity as well as authentication is also failed, right. How it is failed? When user 2 receives a message from intruder, user 2 will not be knowing that the message is interrupted by intruder. He will think that the message is being sent by user 1 and whatever message that I am getting here is from user 1. Okay. So, here authentication and data integrity element is also at a risk, right. So, this is the kind of threats that we are going to have in case of network. So, in order to avoid this, what can be the solution? In order to avoid this, at both the ends here, we have user 1 here, we have user 2 here. Okay. From user 1 I want to send information to user 2, intruder might be somewhere over here. Okay. User 1 as well as user 2 both will share a key, secret key. Okay. Both user 1 and user 2 will share a secret key. Other than them, nobody else will be made available with that secret key. Whatever message that user 1 wants to send to user 2 will be modified to some other form with the help of secret key, and we call that as encryption. Okay. It will be encrypted and it will be made as some ununderstandable message. Okay. Something like this, which is not easily understandable, and then it is sent to user 2. In between, if intruder interrupts, okay, if he gets an access to the message and he tries to interpret it, but he fails to interpret, since it is in a ununderstandable format. The message that is originated at user 1 is encrypted with the help of a secret key, which is shared by only user 1 and user 2. None other than user 1 and user 2 are available with that or having that secret key with them. So, when this encrypted form message is being intruded by intruder, and if he tries to understand what the message is, he will not be able to understand. So, he will fail to understand that message and corrupt that message. So, when he is not able to understand what the message is, he will obviously he will not be able to corrupt it, right. So, he will not send any message to user 2. Okay. So, actual message will be delivered here. Here the message will be decrypted with the help of the secret key, which is being shared between user 1 and user 2, and the actual message will be delivered to user 2. This is how the hacking by an intruder over a message can be avoided. Here at this point it is encryption, on the other end it is decryption. So, by implementing this method we can assure the confidentiality of the information, isn't it? Because intruder will not be able to understand what the message is about, and hence he will not be able to corrupt it. So, whatever information that is being sent by user 1 is safely delivered to user 2 without any abruption or interruption. Okay. thereby we are assuring the confidentiality over here. So, this finishes our elements of network security. Now, we will move on to the next topic, that is the types of threats that we are facing with respect to computer networks. Internet infrastructure attacks are broadly classified into 4 categories. The first category is DNS hacking, that is domain name server hacking, and then the second category, that is routing table poisoning, and then packet mistreatment, and then we have denial of service. The first 3 are with respect to internet or network infrastructure. So, the first 3 category of threat are purely related to the network infrastructure, whereas the denial of service is with respect to end system. Okay. So, we will look into each of these things one by one. We will start with DNS hacking. Why is DNS hacking so important? As we all know, DNS plays a major role as far as a service is provided with respect to network, right? Whenever a request has to be placed to some server, the very first thing that a host does is it is going to send a UDP message to DNS server by providing the domain name, right? Then the domain name is checked in the DNS server and the respective IP address of that particular domain will be provided to the host, with which it starts its establishment of connection with the server. After that, it will carry out further actions, right. So, DNS server is a critical point with respect to the network, isn't it? Along with mapping of names to IP address, it also DNS also provides us various other functionalities or services. We have already studied that in our previous classes, isn't it? It helps us in mail aliasing, it helps us in name aliasing, right. So, when it is providing us such a critical service, if any attack is happening over this DNS, that definitely affects the effectiveness of the network security, isn't it? So, DNS hacking is a major threat that is being faced nowadays in case of network. Okay. Under DNS hacking, we will come across various types. Okay. DNS hacking results in the second element of network security, that is data integrity and authenticity. Okay. The data integrity and authenticity is going to be affected when DNS is hacked. Okay. There are 4 types of hacking happens with respect to DNS. Okay. The very first one is information level attack, and then masquerading attack, information leakage attack, and then domain hijacking attack. What do we mean by information level attack? At this stage, what will happen? Attacker intrudes at the cache point. Okay, we know cache memory, right? Instead of accessing the server every time, if that domain is being visited recently and frequently, then that will be stored at cache memory. Until and unless it is changed at the DNS, it will not be updated, right? Or periodically it will be updated. So, in this case, in information level attack, the attacker attacks at cache and he will modify the information that there in the cache. So, whenever a user plays a request for IP address of some domain, then a wrong information of that domain will be provided, thereby it will be directed to some third party server, means some other server than what it is intended. So, that becomes the first category, that is information level attack. Then comes masquerading attack. Here attacker acts as a trusted entity. Okay, he acts as a trusted entity and he will have an access to all the messages and information that is being transferred over here with respect to DNS. Okay, and by having an access to the messages, when user is placing some request to DNS, since the attacker is acting as a trusted entity, he will be provided with an access to all the messages, right? So, when he gets an access to the messages, he might corrupt that message, or he might modify that message, and he might divert that traffic to some other servers. Okay. So, that is a masquerading attack. This can also be called as third person attack. Okay. The next is information leakage attack. Here the attacker sends queries to all the IP addresses that are available in that particular DNS. Okay. When it sends information to all the IP address, it will get a response from all the IP addresses which are active. So, if there are any IP addresses which is not responding to the message that is being sent by an attacker, then that means that IP address is not in use. Okay. So, the intruder will make use of that IP address for his further actions. With that IP address which is not being used currently, he is going to make whatever interruption or whatever intrusion that he want to do with respect to network. Okay. So, that is our third category of attack with respect to DNS, that is information leakage attack. Then the fourth one is domain hijacking attack. What do we mean by this? As we all know, once the domain is selected, we need to register it, right? So, there are various ways to register the domain which we have selected. After this, the attacker will attack over the domain which we have registered. So, whenever end user wants to enter into that particular domain, he will forcefully be redirected to some other domain because the intruder or attacker has already attacked over domain. For example, if I want to get into some website, forcefully sometimes we will be redirected to some other websites. Okay? We are made to have a look at that website before entering into this website in which we are interested in. So, that is because of domain hijacking attack. So, there are 4 categories of attack or 4 types of attacks that can happen over DNS. The very first one is information level attack, and then masquerading attack. The third one is information leakage attack, and the fourth one is domain hijacking attack. Okay. After understanding this DNS hacking, we will move on to the next threat, the next type of threat with respect to network security, that is routing table poisoning. Okay. So, what do we mean by routing table poisoning? As we all know, routing table plays a major role in network in order to transmit our data packets from a sender to receiver. At every node or at every router, routing table is going to be checked in order to forward that particular packet to the next point, isn't it? So, it is very critical in order to transfer a message from one end to another end, we need to have a routing table in a proper place, right. So, if an attack is being done on routing table, how it is going to be? It is definitely going to affect the network, right. So, there are two kinds of routing table poisoning happen. The number one is link attack, number one is the attack on router. So, two kinds of attacks can happen with respect to routing table. Number one is link attack and number two is router attack. In case of link attack, for example, if we have many routers in the network like this, there will be links, right. So, if link can get attacked at this point, that results in link attack. What will happen? Link attack is a serious threat, okay. When a hacker gets an access to a link between two routers, okay, what all things that he can do? He can definitely damage lot of things. He can make that packet not delivered to the recipient, isn't it? He can directly drop those packets since he got a complete hold on the link between two routers. It is a serious issue. So, both our link state algorithm as well as distance vector algorithm face serious issues in this case, okay. Both these protocols face serious issues as far as link attack is concerned, because in case of, as we all know, in case of link state algorithm, from a single router we will find a path to all other networks that are for all other routers that are available in the network. So, if there is an attack happened in case of link state algorithm, how it is going to affect? If I want to send a packet from router A to B, if this particular link get attacked, then that particular packet might be disposed, or that particular packet might be made not delivered to B. But since we have many other paths from one node to another node or from one router to another router in network, some other route may be calculated, okay, at a later stage, and that packet may be made delivered to the recipient, but here it results in the delay, as well as it might also cause the congestion over network, because the other link might already be having too much of load, okay. When this packet is also made to transfer over that link, that might also result in congestion. Along with that, the message that is being propagated through other link might deliver with little bit of delay. So, this results in delay as well as congestion if some link goes down. With respect to distance vector, at each point the router will get information from its neighboring nodes, and depending on the distance vector that this particular router gets, it is going to calculate the shortest path to the destination. So, here it will get the false or wrong information, and thereby the entire routing path calculation itself will go wrong. So, link attack results in such a mishappening, okay. And then the next is router attack. What will happen router attack? We have just seen that if we have many routers here, there will be a link, that link is going to attack in case of link attack. In case of router attack, here itself attacker will attack. So, he can directly have a complete access over the routing table that is going to be maintained at router, okay. At every router, routing table is the major point where it is going to check to which is the next point to which that particular data packet has to be directed to. If information that is stored at routing table itself is corrupted, then definitely that results in a major disaster, okay. So, this is about routing table poisoning.